those of you who don't know us, we're Noir Caesar Entertainment. We're founded by myself. I'm Johnny O'Brien. I'm actually an NBA player for the Charlotte Hornets, and I'm a huge anime fan. I grew up a big anime fan. I grew up on stuff like Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z Gundam Wing, and my love for anime just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of stuck with me and wanted me really to just develop something for myself and for other manga indie creators. And one of the things that I noticed growing up, that there wasn't a lot of characters of color in anime, so that's one of the things that when I started Noir Caesar, I wanted to focus on. And all these guys that you see has done a great job of helping me bring that to life. I'll just go down the road. First here we have Vaughn Alexander. He's our creative director for Noir Caesar. He does a lot within the company. He makes sure the character designs for all the mangas are looking good. We have a Kickstarter that we're going to show you here in the trailer for, but we have some merchandise available for that Kickstarter as well, and he designed that all on his own. So he's just a great designer, man, really talented guy. Second guy here we have Mikhail Sebastian. He's the creator of one of our titles called Lux Nova, and I'll give him the mic here in a second to talk about that. And then John Lawrence, he's the co-writer for one of our series called Arms of the Dragon, which I personally feel is one of our better series. And then next to him is Marcus. He's actually the creator of Arms of the Dragon. And Marcus was actually, he doesn't look like it, but he was actually my high school teacher. So he taught me when I was 9th grade. So he was actually one of the people I went to kind of help me start the company and just help me get into manga writing and creating. Now he's a great talent, and we're glad to have him. And then beside him is Corey McHale. Corey he's not only the production manager for Noir Caesar, he's a writer of his own. He actually writes one of the mangas that we have called Space Pop, which is a great story. And because we don't have a PowerPoint, I'll just kind of pull up our website you guys can go to and see everything that we have. And I'll give these guys the mic and just kind of let them talk about their titles and kind of the inspiration behind it, and just kind of why they got into manga and why they came to Noir Caesar. So. Yeah, if you guys haven't already subscribed, I definitely advise you do. We have some great titles and great work going on over here, and the quality of the manga is really great as well, so I would definitely check that out. First up, we have Lux Nova. I'll give the mic to Mikhail and just kind of let him take it from there. Like I said, Lux Nova is a great work, and I think you guys will really enjoy what you have to say about it. So.
Thank you. Yeah, this is my story, Mythology Lux Nova. It basically follows these two brothers, Aether and Calum. They're from the civilization called the Solarian that are on the brink of extinction. So during this mass extinction that's going on for their civilization across the universe, they get separated from their tribe. So the whole story just kind of follows them trying to reconnect with their tribe and get connected back with them. And during the journey, they don't, necessarily just trying to get back to their family, but they're also connecting with their history and their ancestry and the history of their people. So with Lux Nova, what I wanted to do was, I wanted to kind of create the civilization of people that were basically what bees are for our ecosystem, how they're pivotal to the survival of us. That's basically what the Solarian are for their universe. And with them going through this massive extinction, it starts to have an effect throughout the entire universe. There are planets dying, there are solar systems dying, there are stars dying. So the pivotal nature of them connecting with their family isn't just, we want to get back to the people that we love, but we have to restore this power to keep our universe alive, because if we die, we all die. So that's basically the idea that I had for Lux Nova. And I've been working on it for I was writing the story for maybe like 10 years, but I've been working on it for the past 3 or 4 years in physical form for the book, so, yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
And Mikhail, I have a question for Mikhail. Mikhail, just tell them, pretty much when I reached out to Mikhail to join Hype Manga and Noir Caesar, Mikhail had a huge following. He had like 20,000 followers on Instagram, a big Facebook following. So kind of tell them why you chose to come to Noir Caesar and bring your property to us.
Yeah, well, when I first heard what Johnny was trying to do with the company, and that was just put representation on the forefront, I mean, that resonated easily with me. When I was growing up, I think a lot of us, for people of color, we wanted to see characters that looked like us, characters that, you know, that we could relate to in a way, and you know, they were very scarce growing up. So when he came to us and you know, approached me about creating something that, where the focus was to put characters that kids can look at and go, hey, that looks like me, and that character reminds me of me, or reminds me of my friend, and that they can see themselves in these characters, I really resonated with the mission that he wanted to do, and I felt it was really important, so I was obviously on board for it.
Cool, cool. You can pass the mic to John. Here we have John Lawrence. He's actually the co-writer for Arms of the Dragon. Arms of the Dragon is a great series. As you see the artwork, actually when we released our artwork on NoirCaesar.com, we got a lot of feedback of, you know, people really excited about the project. It actually dropped its first chapter last week, and people really loved it, man. So it was definitely a great piece for us. And John, just starting with you, I mean, you're pretty much this is your first time actually co-writing on the project, so kind of just tell them what was the transition like going from writing your own work to kind of collaborating with Marcus and on Arms of the Dragon. So.
It was really interesting. I've been working on my own personal story, Project Break, for 3 years, and that takes place in a medieval setting with female adult leads. And all of a sudden, you know, Hale comes up to me, hey, here's a saber, make arms. And I'm like, all right, cool. And it's a completely different setting, so I was like, whoa. And it was like kids and a modern setting, you know, a city. Like it was just a really interesting transition. But I was able to fuse my own narrative elements into this story, which is why I really came to enjoy it so much.
Great answer, great answer. And for those of you who don't know, John has a project of his own called Project Break that he's actually working on, trying to get released. And a question from Marcus, who's actually the creator for Arms. Just tell them a little bit about the inspiration for Arms and kind of what made you want to come up with that kind of, you know, specific story.
It's kind of hard to give one inspiration for Arms. It's kind of like, I'm from the South, so it's kind of like a pot of gumbo. It's a little bit of everything inside of it. As Johnny he told you all my age earlier, basically, but I was a high school teacher. I'm still a full-time teacher, so one week I had like this crazy week of work, and I wanted to unwind one weekend, so I was watching a bunch of stuff that I like, Enter the Dragon, The Last Dragon, Bruce Leroy showed up, Big Trouble in Little China, and I was watching those back to back to back. And I was like, dang, I wonder what it would be like if Shonuff and Leroy grew up together as friends. And it was like a crazy idea. But the crazier thing about it is, what it turned out to be is nothing like the original idea I had. So it's all those different influences and my personal influences as a teacher, seeing different things that children go through, different things adults go through. So I tried to fuse it all together. It's basically a story about survival, maintaining love through hardship, and not losing yourself when you go through different hardships. So it's a little bit of action, well, a lot of action, a lot of suspense, but also a story of survival as well.
Perfect, perfect. Like I said, I like Arms of the Dragon. I actually love it. I think it's one of our better titles. I don't know if you're familiar with the anime Gangsta, but it gives me. But yeah, if you like that anime, man, well, you know, not to sound corny, but this is like 20 times more gangster than that, actually. So, you probably should definitely check it out. And here, man, if, you know, whenever it actually loads, but. If you're not sure if you want to subscribe, we have a free sampler on the website where you can click on it. We have little mini chapters of every title's first chapter you guys can read. And as you see, this is the series I created, Primus 7, along with Marcus co-created and Vaughn co-created. And I'll just move along to Corey McKell, who's actually production manager for me, as I said earlier. He's actually the writer and creator of Space Pop. So I'll move on to that. And as you can see, already we like to definitely, put out great quality work, as you can see from here. But just a question for Corey. Just talk about Space Pop and your inspiration. The name in itself, Space Pop, it just sounds like, just a great adventure. So just talk about Space Pop and inspiration for that.
That's exactly what I want to do with Space Pop, is to bring space adventure, and space opera to the forefront. Me personally, I love Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop, even something as modern as Space Dandy, and I wanted to do my own variation of that. So I created Space Pop, which is about this group of misfits. And I love those stories of characters that shouldn't be together, coming together for a common cause. And that's what I really wanted to echo with Space Pop. It follows Joshua Fallscar. Just imagine the worst person possible is your father throughout the entire galaxy, the worst person possible. And the empire is overthrown. So you have all of these people in the entire universe hating you for that fact, when Joshua is nothing like his father. So Joshua really doesn't care about people's opinion of himself, he just wants to live. So Joshua and his crew of misfits, they take these odd jobs from something I call the Eighth Moon Agency. And what I want to do is create these parallels of today's society and how they deal with them through difference of religion, culture, skin tone, and how these misfits come together for a common cause for the betterment of the universe for everybody.
Cool, cool. And Corey actually called out one of my favorite anime, and Outlaw Star. I actually love it.
And Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, definitely Cowboy Bebop. And then we'll just move on to my series, Primus 7. So Primus 7 was actually the reason behind this whole company. I actually reached out to Marcus and Vaughn, and I told them that I wanted to write an anime. At this time, I had never been a writer. I had no experience in manga, the manga world, publishing anything. But I told them that I wanted to make my own anime. And I reached out to Marcus. We came up with a story. Vaughn, we came up with a story. And then when it came time to get the animation done, we realized that great animation is $1 million to $2 million to make. So we was like, whoa, that's, for one episode. So we was like, no, we can't do that. So, we kind of huddled up and decided, what's the next best thing? So we was like, let's put out the manga. And, we hired Sebastian, is it Ryra? Ryra, that's how you say his name. Sebastian Ryra. Great artist to do the manga. And kind of while the manga was being made, I started having so many other ideas in my head that I was like, you know what? I can't just put my focus toward one idea. So let me create this publishing company where I can express my creativity through a bunch of different works. And it's kind of how Noir Caesar came about. But Primus 7, we're actually going to show you a trailer for it later. But Primus 7 is actually about these two brothers that you see. Their father is the leader of a resistance, and this resistance is trying to take down the evil dictator that runs the world of Primordia. And what happens is, when both of these boys are young, their father is killed right in front of them. Now this causes the boys to want revenge, to live their life out to get vengeance. And Primus 7 is kind of just a struggle of, trying to free your people from liberation, but also, trying to stray away and find your own path. So it's a balance between that. And I think, so yeah, we finally got the cable, but it's a little late. I mean, I guess we could pull up the slideshow, but yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on Primus 7. But Corey was a writer as well, so I'll start with Corey, Marcus, and then Vaughn, and let them give their thoughts of what they feel Primus 7 represents.
What I wanted to concentrate on with Primus 7, taking everything that Johnny said, was I wanted to concentrate as a child. the steps of getting over something that traumatic in your life and understanding your place in the world and purpose, all the while people telling you, hey, this is what you have to do, this is what you're going to do. And it's not a decision that you make on your own. It's about understanding that you do have a purpose and kind of configuring what everyone is saying to you, to your own ideals. And that's what I wanted to concentrate on with the two brothers and their relationship towards one another, is understanding the stages of grief with the children and not having a father figure. So that's what I wanted to concentrate on. It's something that I believe a lot of people can relate to when you don't have a direction in life and someone is constantly telling you, this is what you're going to do. So that's what I wanted to concentrate on with the relationship with the brothers.
Yeah, initially, I wasn't even supposed to be a part of the writing staff of Primus. Johnny was home one day, I think it was like All-Star break, was it Johnny? I think it was like All-Star break, he was at home. So he hit me up and asked me for feedback on the project. And we started dialoguing, and over time, I just interjected myself into overwriting the story. I really just wanted to focus on making sure that Primus being our first title, that it represented what Noir was trying to do symbolically overall. So anyone that's a fan of manga and anime, they're also fans of a lot of different things. So I wanted us to lift that intersection, like with us specifically. Most of us are fans of hip hop, anime, and fashion. And those things have always been linked, even though we don't really realize. You look at things like Samurai Champloo, the way it opens, and the style of Naruto when you get to Shippuden, like the clothing style and everything. So I just wanted to focus on those things and make sure that as soon as you saw that, it was evident. Building the worlds a little bit. Johnny and Vaughn did a great job on the characters already, so I didn't want to touch them style-wise, the backgrounds, I tweaked them a little bit, but I really wanted to make sure that the world was submersive. When you read it, of course you love the characters, but the world itself is what invites you and endears you to those stories. So I wanted to make sure that we had a bunch of distinct cultures that were all different and unique and that would grab your attention.
And just a quick question for Vaughn. Just kind of tell them, because I don't think people realize, and this is really with a lot of Noir Caesar titles, but just kind of tell them the style and look and aesthetic that we try to put into Primus 7 and the appeal that we wanted, fans to see in it. So,
I think the biggest thing for me was that I wanted to definitely take something that had already been an inspiration for many other titles that we all have become acclimated with, but I wanted to make it something of our own and push it to be fashion forward. I think that a lot of the influences that we pull from every genre tend to be representative of other cultures, but they're not inclusive, so you may find relatability in one thing, but that may not be something that you see, all right, you know what, well that's cool, I like it, but that may not be me. So I tried to take, when I was approaching the apparel design, even all the way down to the character costumes, everything aesthetically, I wanted it to have a sense of uniformity, but to have a sense of individuality as well, just to feel within yourself and what you're wearing, but to also feel like, oh yeah, this is fly too, you know what I mean? Like, I could throw this on to go to the mall. Like, I mean, you could cosplay to the mall, but wearing this is cosplaying as well, and it's streetwear, so it's something that I feel is definitely more progressive.
Cool. I guess, before we show the trailer, we'll just open it up for, any questions. Yeah, if anybody has any questions you want to ask, feel free, me or any other creator, so.
Hi, I really like the art style. I was wondering if each story has a different artist, or is it the same person drawing most of it?
No, a lot of our stories have different artists. Mikkel is the artist for Lux Nova, as well as a series we have called Playboy. I think a lot of you guys will enjoy Playboy. Playboy is about a...
it explains itself.
Yeah,
What's in the title?
An ex-Marine who became, a gigolo.
Yeah, it's about like the world's most famous gigolo. So it's a pretty cool story, man.
It's wild.
Yeah, we have about, what, 4 or 5, 6 different artists?
About 6 artists.
Yeah, we have about 6 different artists that kind of split each story up, so. Anybody else?
Jacqueline. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry.
No, after.
Other than the Kickstarter for the movie and the manga, do you plan to expand Primus 7 in any other media forms like video games or?
For sure, man. I mean, that's definitely. I mean, one day, you know, if we can definitely have it. You know, I think right now our focus is just to create really dope manga for it, and like I said, just you know, try to get as much support as we can from the Kickstarter, and then expand from there. So.
Can I get a shirt?
Yeah, for sure. We only brought it up for the staff, but
Which one? Which one would you like?
you guys like the shirts?
Yeah.
Say no more. I tell you what, then in 2 weeks, check on the website. They're all being for sale.
It's funny. It's funny. As far as the clothing is concerned, we actually had a lot more. Oh,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead if you had a question.
No, finish. It's my little brother. Finish.
Okay. So, as far as the clothing is concerned, like we had a lot more. Like just as far as the Kickstarter campaign is concerned, I think the biggest thing is in order to create a vehicle that has this force behind it and this momentum behind it, that will open up every other avenue. That will open up the video games. That will open up more merchandise. Like the more we want to be inclusive, you know, we want everybody to feel like this isn't just our thing, you know, like the purpose of us creating these titles was this is for our audiences, this is for people who are underrepresented or don't see a sense of like relatability in the titles that they're grasping. Like so often you come across titles that you love them, but how deep can you get into them by like on a personal level? So that's what this was about, especially with Primus 7. We want, when you see the clothes, like we want you to say like, oh yeah, that's fly, I gotta get that. You know, so that's kind of where we're at with it.
Perfect.
So I was gonna say, do you guys like, if you guys are making your animes, would you make your own music or would you guys kind of find that?
It's actually funny that you said that. At our booth, if you pass by our booth, you actually see our music director for Primus 7. And the thing about Primus 7, what we wanted to do is, I'm from the South, so you know, when I watch a lot of anime, you always see, you know, in One Punch Man or Naruto, a heavy fight scene has always got the heavy metal rock. But like, I'm from the South. I grew up to Outkast and you know, Gucci Man. So like, I feel like, you know, so I feel like in Primus 7 in the fight scene, why not have, you know, this hot bass beat, and you know, that's the kind of things that we just want to mix up and kind of, you know, bring a different sound to it as well. So.
And it's all original music.
All original.
So I was gonna ask real quick, just for future reference for everyone here, what's the easiest way to find the Kickstarter? Because when I was trying to find it on my phone, even if I type up Primus 7, something else comes up on Kickstarter.
Well,
so I had to go to Kickstarter and then type in Primus 7, and then it says like epilogue.
It's there now.
Is that good?
It's the prologue episode. So you just go to www.kickstarter.com, the search bar, type in Primus 7, and it should be the first one that pops up. Primus 7 prologue episode. So.
If you have an Instagram, it's also in the Instagram bio for the
yes.
Actually really loud, so.
Sure.
You're fine.
Okay.
Whichever way you're more comfortable.
Way more comfortable with this. So, oh, okay, never mind then. Okay, so I work with, outside of the military, I work with teenagers back at home in Waco. In Central Texas, I won't say Waco because I'm from Killeen. What message would you have to bring, would you give to those young brothers and sisters that are, you know, I'm going to take this, like, hey, this is what, you know, something that, you know, we're doing, you know, as a race. What message would you have those people who eventually will be looking up to you?
I think honestly, man, just continue to believe in your vision, and that's all that we did. You know, I'm honest. I can be completely honest with you guys, you know, because you guys showed up to support us. But you know, we pitched Primus 7 to 2 or 3 different networks, and they all was like, "No, we can't see your vision." But for me, I just feel like I just refuse to take no as an answer in any part of life. So. You're not going to tell me that Primus 7 is not dope. It's just not going to happen. So, So that's the reason we launched the Kickstarter, is just to you know, let people know, like, hey, we're still pushing, you know, we want to see this thing happen. So, you know, we really believe in the vision, and I think for them as well, you know, they got a product and, you know, they believe in it, just keep pushing. I think for us, as we expand as a company, we're definitely going to reach out to those kind of kids and just, you know, different programs just to let them know, like, hey, we're here for, you know, any type of creativity that you know, want to get into. So.
Can I add on to that? I would say also that a lot of times in the community I came up in, if people knew you were an anime fan or a manga fan, you would be like ridiculed to death. You know, so I was fortunate enough that I had a core group of friends that like, okay, Marcus cool no matter what. Like, I got along with them, but the people that didn't know me well, they saw me reading a comic or something, they would try to ostracize you, make fun of you, or whatever. Number one thing is, like I said, have a dream, but don't be afraid to follow your dream. Exactly. And also, don't just dream, plan. If your plan fails, guess what? You can always revise that plan, but keep pushing forward with your plan. That's the number one thing. Not to be afraid to claim what you want to do.
Did you guys, like, I don't know if you guys mentioned this before or not, because I just came in like 5 minutes ago, but like, when you jumped in like to making your manga and your stories and stuff, right? Did you like come in with like a good strong set of skills and talent? Or did you just come in with a vision and just start building your skills while you did stuff?
Oh man, great question, great question. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. And I know my younger people know what this means, but we took a lot of L's, bro. We took so many L's starting up, man. And like, and it's funny, we only been around 4 months, but we already reached 37,000 followers on Facebook. Instagram is almost at 10K, so like, we've gotten a lot of love, but I think all these people that you see here now are like family to me. I mean, like, I talk to them, like I text Corey, he's my production manager, like I text him all day to make sure, like, hey man, you doing your job? Like, and Marcus, he's a teacher, but like, I'm in the NBA, so we're in the off season, so I don't have nothing to do right now. So, like, so I kind of just blow them up. Even with Mikhail, like when he's doing work for me, I just kind of like, I blow him up, like, hey man, when's it ready? When's it ready? But I think for the most part, man, we just, like we took a lot of L's early on, and then, I think the negative people and the people that's kind of in it for self, they kind of weed themselves out, and then you can kind of see like, okay, he's a good guy, and then that's the person you take under your arm, you roll with. So,
one more thing to add to that: don't be afraid of not knowing. I was always just a fan of anime and manga. So when Johnny hit me up, I didn't know anything about writing a script. All I had was ideas of different stories. So the best thing you could do is just start. Put pen to paper, start hitting the keystrokes, and you'll figure it out as you go along.
And the biggest thing I want to say is that, like, for everyone in here that is a consumer, you control the market. Like, don't think for a second that you don't control the industry, because in an industry like this, people can come off as disingenuous. But the one thing I want you to understand is that if you have to go and buy something from a store, and that store compromises, your sense of morals and values, and you choose not to be a consumer at that store anymore, they now lose out on their grossing. You know what I mean? Like, everybody in here, if you choose not to support a brand, then that brand doesn't thrive. So don't think that the industry is not designed to cater around you, because it is. Everyone in here, you have something to bring to the market, and that is your attention. That's what they're providing this for. That's what everyone in here is. That's why we are here, because these things are things that we enjoy. So continue to let that be what fuels you and moves you forward. And as far as taking L's are concerned, I mean, I'm talking about from artwork, I'm talking about from writing, I'm talking about from the production of garments, from opportunistic personalities trying to take things and bend it a little bit. It was a lot, man, but don't ever let anything deter you. Just stay with it.
We only got time for like 2 more questions and then the trailer, so.
I think the young lady right here was ready too.
Okay.
No, I already.
Question.
Oh,
you had a question?
We'll talk after also.
All right, yeah.
Cool. First half question. Was Afro Samurai at all an influence or an inspiration for Primus 7?
It even says it on the Kickstarter.
To be honest, man, like, I like Afro Samurai, but mean, it's okay. I mean,
it took forever for them to come out with
yeah, man. I mean, so many people been asking us like, oh my God, Primus 7 is a mix of like
Boondocks,
the Boondocks and Dragon Ball Z or Naruto, but honestly, man, it was just our vision, and you know, it just, I mean, it's inspired by so much, man. Like, you know, so many different animes. So I think, I mean, Afro Samurai was definitely, the action in it was cool. So I think that would definitely be, if you ever see a sword fight scene, just be like, yeah, that's inspired by Afro Samurai. Yeah.
Real quick follow-up. So you talked about having an internal music department, sort of building up the music, like the trap stuff that I heard with, you know, Primus 7. Have you considered getting sort of external artists or external input on the music side of things? You know, people who do sampling or, you know, writing up their own beats and submitting it to you guys. Is that something you've planned or thought about?
Yeah, absolutely, man. We get an inbox full of messages of people like, hey, man, you know, I got a track for this and I got a track for Primus 7. But I definitely think, man, as we expand, we definitely want to, you know, bring in indie artists and just, you know, external, you know, creators to come in and, you know, really help the company. So
cool. That's what's up.
Yeah. We also have we had a soundtrack that we had artists submit, and we chose a couple of artists that kind of pulled a rabbit out of the hat based on the best track. So we had everybody submit.
Last question, my man.
Where do the ones submit this music if they have?
Actually, I tell you what, come by the booth. The really pudgy titty belly guy is our music director. And that's like my best friend, big brother, so I mean, it's cool. But yeah, that's our music director. You can just, you know, he'll give you his email, and he has a company email, and he'll take care of you. So, but right now we're gonna play this trailer, man, and it's pretty much, you know, we put our blood, sweat, and tears into it. It's 1 minute long, and we really need you guys' support as far as Kickstarter go. But you know, definitely check us out and, you know, help us out. So.
All right, so here we go.
I see no jealous and envy. Sorry you can't offend me, but praise the corner way, and I never thought of a penny. Shine because they hate us, lies because they make us. And those people freedom, fighting for liberation.
Yeah, so that's pretty much Noir Caesar, man, in a nutshell. We're trying to bring diversity to anime and manga, and no matter what anybody in this room believes or what anybody tells us, I'm telling you now, Noir Caesar will be big as shit, so you're ready. Yeah. And thank each and every one of you for coming, for real. We definitely appreciate it, man. And like I said, if you want to support us, that's absolutely fine. If not, that's fine as well. But just like I said, head to Kickstarter, man. Support us, we need it. And thank you guys for coming. So.
We're still here, so if you want to talk some more, ask some questions, we'll be downstairs in the area from before.